Hey everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been following me on social media, by the way, you should follow me on Instagram. You'll notice that this year has been a little bit tough on me. We lost my dad at the end of March, and so I've been trying to kind of get into a rhythm, kind of work through those different things. And so right now, the end of June, we're approaching my birthday and my mom's birthday. So I wanted to do something special for my mom to kind of, remember my dad and kind of help her get through. So I found this card that he had written her, and there is some handwriting in there. So we have done handwriting videos before. This is not any different than our typical video. I'm just going to show you how I set this up, and then I created a wooden keychain. So I wanted something practical. I wanted something that she could carry around, and I really, really liked the idea of just having a heart. She loves the hearts. She loves all that sort of stuff. So I thought it would be really a nice gift to give her for her birthday. So we're going to be using Silhouette Studio Business Edition to trace it and create it as a vector, and then we are cutting this out on our Glowforge. So this is Woodpecker's Birch Plywood. I have it linked in the description. And then this hardware, I'm not exactly sure where I got it from, so I'll have to look it up and see if I can find it for you. So if you're ready to get started with this video, or if you would like to get a Glowforge of your very own, you can check the link in the description to save up to $500 on a new machine. And while you're here, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any more uploads. So let's go ahead and work on this project. Alright guys, so I have my two pictures that I'm going to be pulling from in Silhouette Studio. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to rotate it using this green dot and just bring this over this way. Okay, so now we can start our tracing process. So some things that you may run into is the fact that there's a slight shadow over here. You can see it's a little bit lighter here and a little bit darker there. So we're going to go through, we're going to hit this little button over here, select trace area, and then we are going to grab this entire design to select it. So you will see that the yellow is your object that will remain once you're done tracing it. So this traces by like the deepness of the color. So you can see over here on the right, it's really good, but this side of the paper is lighter, so the color is not as deep. So what we can do is we can increase our threshold, which is how much it looks for in the trace. But if you see, if we do that, it starts pulling the dark color from the paper. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do two stages. So we're going to do this threshold, so this part right here looks really good. So I'm happy with that. Let's bring our scale down, that smooths it just a little bit, and then trace. So when you move it, you can see this looks pretty good. I'm going to click on it using the top left and fill it in. So this looks pretty good. This is a little bit patchy, so here's our solution. I'm going to take this same design, I'm going to select trace area, but I'm only going to select the part that's like kind of patchy, that's not as strong. So you can see right here, and now we can increase the threshold here. So we're not going to get as much distortion because we don't have this dark area over here blowing it out. So you can see now we have some fuzzies, so I'm going to bring it back to the left a little bit to decrease it, and it looks pretty good. We're going to hit the scale down and now trace. So basically we did two traces with this. So we can click and move, and now we can see, let's fill in a totally different color. It's thicker. So I'm going to take my original design, move it right here. Let's zoom in, bring this over, and then I'm literally just going to drag this new one right on top of the old one. So this is traced from the same picture. So we're not worrying too much about, are they the same size? What can we do? Because it's literally the same picture. I didn't resize it. So now I have this on top here. I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to take the whole thing and weld it. And what I'm doing with welding is I'm basically just merging this top and bottom one into this, overall design. So check it out. We have a lot of little square boxes. That's noise from our design. So I want to delete all of that. The easiest way to delete it at this point is we're going to utilize the shift click function. So when you hold down shift when selecting, you can select multiple items by holding down shift. Also, when you have multiple items selected, you can deselect them by holding down shift and clicking. So I'm holding shift, click there, click there. You can see I did not get the right one, but that's okay. Click there. So we're going to find a big area that we know is our main part of it. Get our little comma, get the B for bandana, and that. So you can see all that noise is taken out. Cute little message. My dad always went by bandana. He always, you know, it was like a cute thing. So now you can do what you want to do. You can group certain words together and kind of rearrange the layout. I'm going to keep this all the same, so I'm just going to grab all of this and group. You can even do make compound path, which makes it one big shape. So now we're just going to take this section right here. He called my mom House Mouse. So I'm going to take this and go back to tracing, select trace area, bring it, drag it over here. And the same thing, we're just going to increase our threshold. This one should be pretty straightforward. Yep. Bring the scale down, it just smooths it a little bit. Trace. So now I'm going to take this, fill it in black so I can see it, then copy and paste it into this workspace so I can have it all in one area. So you can see we have a little bit of noise going on here. You can go through, and the easiest way to remove noise, in my opinion, is to take the eraser tool, erase one little section that you know is noise, and then Silhouette will end up ungrouping your design. So now I can go right here and do the same thing. Select everything, including that noise, and then click to deselect what I want to keep. So I'm not going to keep this little section of the H here. You know, she won't even notice. So delete. Okay. So we have that all set here, and then we will group as well. Sometimes you'll see because of the pen, there may be a discrepancy on how thick it is. I don't think that this is thick enough to notice, so I'm going to leave it. But if you wanted to, you could do a teeny tiny little offset, like 0.01 to kind of thicken it up. Okay, so I have my sections of the keychain. So now I'm going to make the keychain itself. So my mom loves all cheesy things. So I'm going to go over to my flexi shapes over here on the left. This is in business edition. We're going to draw a heart. So we have our heart selected. You can see my mouse's crosshairs. Click and drag. And now you can see our little heart here. You can do some adjustments if you want. You know, doesn't do too much. So we're going to leave it like this. Right click and convert to path. Because we don't want to do any more of those adjustments. We're all set. And since this is a keychain, I'm actually going to edit this heart to not taper so much here. So we're going to use the point edit function for that. So if you double click, you can see we're in the point edit mode. You go right here, you can see that controls how that line works. So I'm literally just going to take it and bring it out just a little bit so it's not curving as much. So the way point editing works, how these points work, is the easiest way to explain it is that the line tries to follow this square. So that kind of determines where the line goes. I'm going to hit Control Z. So I'm just making it a little bit wider. So you can see it's not perfect, but it works for what we're doing. Okay, so now we're going to set up our keychain. I think I'm going to do this all on one side. So I'm going to take this and just very quickly shrink it using the corner. And then I'll resize the entire thing when I get closer to being ready to make it. So we're going to pop that on here. Let's go ahead, zoom in a little bit more. And kind of arrange it like this, kind of like a letter. And this is all preference. Like, you could also take this and center it, but I think I'm going to kind of make this even smaller so that my dad, actually I'm gonna delete the whole thing. We don't need it. So I'm gonna make this larger. I will always love you, and kind of have it go from there. So now we need to just do our little opening for our leather. So I've been doing these squares at, we're going to take off our ratio. We're going to do 0.5 by, I think I've been doing 0.1194. Tiny little square, rectangle. Oh, and we need to resize this. So we'll grab this entire thing, right click. Let's change this color of this line for our engraving. So we have this will cut. Oops, Control Z. This will cut, this will engrave. This is a red line. This is a black line. So we'll grab the entire thing now, right click, group, And now we want to determine how big our keychain will be. Right now it's going to be 2.5 by 2.5 essentially. I think that's pretty good. I don't want to do too big of a keychain, so I'll do it like this, and if my mom wants a bigger one, then hey, we'll do that. We can even do it as a luggage tag. So I'm going to take this opening and kind of rotate it so it's like it attaches this way, if that makes sense. So we can have it, it's going to hang right on here, and I think it's going to look really cute. So we don't have to do anything with this because these are both red lines, so they'll come in as the same function. So now we're going to use Business Edition to export as an SVG. So we're going to grab both of these right here, go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, choose SVG in your dropdown, and then I will see you in Glowforge in just a second. Alright friends, so I'm in my Glowforge software. You can see I've already put my board in there. This is one that I've been using and it's already masked. This is birch plywood from Woodpecker's Crafts. I have a link to them in my description. So I hit these 3 dots up here and I'm going to be setting my focus. So this helps the fisheye lens camera figure out how far away the board is. That helps make sure you get accurate power, but also make sure you have an accurate alignment of your design, because you know it can distort how it looks, and so you may line it up in a different spot. So I'm going to take my design. You can see it shifted just a little bit. And because I have it lined up, I know that I can fit it right into this empty space. So now we can go through and do our settings. So this right here on the left, you can see different line color, different slots. We'll do engrave. These are all custom ones that I've done myself. I'm going to use my birch settings, which is 800 speed, 500 power. And then I'm going to use my cut settings for birch as well. So I've been doing that at 160 speed at full power. So you want to test them out yourself. You're more than welcome to try mine. But just as a warning, you do need to test your own settings because there's so many other factors that go into it. So always do a test. So let's go over and print. This shouldn't take too long. It's not a huge design. So we're going to see how long it'll be. And then you'll see it go. And then I'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, so here is the keychain. So I took it, this is the birch plywood, and I put a coat of medium walnut Danish oil on it. So I really like Danish oil because it gives it like a shinier finished look. Sometimes I don't like wood stains kind of look dry in a way, and I know that you can put an oil on it, so I just did Danish oil because it has the stain and the oil right in it. So I think she's going to really like it. It's going to go right onto her keys, and she'll be able to carry it around with her. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any more uploads. You can check out what I used in the video in the description below. And if you are ready to get a Glowforge of your very own, you can use the link in the description to save up to $500 on a new machine. And if you're watching and you're struggling with your machine or your software or just need a little bit of help, don't forget that I do offer one-on-one training sessions, and you can find the link in the description below.